Hello, welcome to another video. As you can tell from the title, today we are talking about some teeny tiny books on my TBR. With Readathon being tomorrow, this seemed like a good idea for today. Some tiny books. Maybe I will get through some of these for Readathon myself, but also if you were just on the lookout for some teeny tiny books, here's a few on my TBR that I have not yet read. So I can't necessarily say I recommend them, because I haven't read them, hence them being on my TBR and not recommendations. But here they are. Here's some teeny tiny books that are on my TBR that I might read for Readathon. We'll see. The teeny tiniest one on here is The Griffin Gate by Vashti Hardy with illustrations by Natalie Smiley? This is literally a kid's chapter book. It's illustrated, there's barely any text on the page, to be totally honest with you. So it would be a very quick read. However, it's Vashti Hardy, and I have become a big fan of Vashti Hardy. Her Bright Storm series is one of my favourites. I absolutely loved Bright Storm. Wild Spark was also fantastic. And they are older middle grade, whereas this is definitely more of a children's. But it's Vashti Hardy, and I've loved her other books, so I wanted to give this one a go as well, even if it is really diddly and a children's chapter book. So this one is about a young girl called Grace, whose family are all guardians of the Griffin map, which uses teleportation technology, by the sounds of it, to teleport her family around to fight crime. And although Grace is young, she wants to be involved in that. She wants to go on a mission, because if her brother can do it, why can't she? And of course, when something happens where Grace uses the map to teleport to fight a crime, she might have bitten off more than she can chew, and I assume that's the story we're going to be following. What happens when she actually goes ahead and does that. So, sounds super cute. I know that Vashti Hardy is very much into her steampunk vibes, and with it being this clockwork sort of gate on the cover, I imagine we're going to get those steampunk vibes in here as well. I'm excited about this one. Love myself a bit of Vashti Hardy, and it will not take long to read at all. So perfect for a readathon like Readathon. I'm looking forward to it. Next up we have Tamarind and the Star of Ishtar by Jasmine de Balan. This is the sequel to Isha and the Spirit Bird, which I read for Bookathon last summer, the first 48-hour edition of Bookathon. It was a super quick read, and this one is actually even smaller than the first one, so I think this one is also going to be a super quick read. It's, again, big text, not illustrated in this one other than the chapter headers, but should still be a super quick read. I think it's just about 200 pages, 201 or something? 202. 202 pages, so it shouldn't take long at all to read this one, I don't think. But this one follows Tamarind, who never knew her Indian mother. She died shortly after she was born. Tamarind ends up visiting her ancestral home in the Himalayas, and when she gets there, she has a load of questions. However, rather than answers, she just gets a load of silence. So Tamarind has this ambition to find out who she is and where she truly belongs, and in order to do that she follows some clues, which leads her to a girl called Ishtar. That's all I know about this, but it sounds very similar to Isha in regards to finding who you are, finding where you belong. It's got that sort of moral that a lot of middle grades do in terms of finding out who you really are and who your family is and where you call home. I think it's going to be really heartwarming. But yeah, super quick, sounds super sweet. Maybe I'll get to this one in Readathon, who knows, but super tiny, so maybe. Next up we have The Deepest Breath by Meg Grayan? This one is told in verse, so there are not a lot of words on a page in this one, and I think it's only 200 pages, again, if that. 156 pages, and it's told in verse, so this would take absolutely no time to read, so would be perfect for a Readathon. However, it's a contemporary, so I'm more tempted to hold on to this one for when contemporary pops up in another Readathon, because we all know I don't read a lot of contemporary, so holding on to a quick one for that purpose may be useful. But this one is about a young girl called Stevie who doesn't know a lot. She doesn't know all the fish in the sea, she doesn't know all the constellations in the stars, and she doesn't know why she feels this way about Chloe. And Chloe is her best friend, so I think it's going to be about a young girl coming to terms with her feelings for her best friend. Sounds super heartwarming, and yeah. It's not long, so shouldn't take long to get through at all. Whether I read this one for Readathon or hold on to it for a different purpose, I don't know. Should be super quick, and the cover of this one is just beautiful with all of the underwater scenery, and we've got the constellations up here as well. So it's a cover full of all the things that Stevie doesn't know. I think it's really cute. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what that one's all about. Next up on this list, we have Jack's Secret Summer by Jack Ryder, illustrated by Alice McKinley. This one looks like a super fun summery adventure, and I'm pretty sure that's what it is, because it's the first day of the summer holidays, and Jack, as of yet, has no idea about the Secret Summer Gang and an old empty treehouse full of secrets and the strange girl who lives there who's going to take them on an adventure they will never forget. Sounds like a classic middle grade adventure story, and this book is so heavily illustrated. Like, we've got the like vine imagery that just speaks summer to me pretty much everywhere, but also there's like the little note bits, there's actual illustrations throughout, like they are everywhere throughout this. There's a bunch, and again the text is super big and doesn't look like it would take too long to fly through, and with it being this like summery childlike adventure, I think it would just be a really quick read anyway. It's a little over 200 pages, I think we're about 230-ish, but with all those illustrations, it'll be an absolute breeze to fly through, I think. And again, middle grade, so super quick and easy to read, but just sounds like a really fun adventure. So I hope I can get to this one soon. Also, the cover is really cool, because you see the cover, and then you open it, and it's the inside of the house with a little hole with the girl hanging in the window. I just think that's really cool. So yeah, I'm excited to read this one in the lead up to summer. I think it's going to be a really fun adventure. Next up, I have This Is How You Lose the Time War, which I know very little about other than it's confusing. It's full of timey-wimey stuff, and I think it's about two time-travelling agents called Red and Blue who interact throughout this and fall in love but shouldn't, or I really don't know, and I don't think I want to know. I think this is one I want to go into still not knowing a lot about it and just kind of gobble it up in one go. I've heard that reading it in one sitting is probably the best way to do it because it can be quite confusing, so that's my plan for this one. I would like to get to this one for Readathon because, as I said, I do want to read it in one sitting. I think it's going to be confusing, but I'm excited about it. I think is this by two authors? Yes. Amal El Motar and Max Gladstone. So I think each one of the authors writes a different one of the characters, and it's their interactions. But yeah, I don't know much about this at all. So going into this with minimal expectation, because I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. I've heard some good things, I've heard some confusing things. Mostly I've heard that people have no idea what's going on, so I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Next up, we have Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? I didn't realise how tiny this book is because it's 193 pages long. I didn't know that it was that short, but this is a classic sci-fi about a bounty hunter who hunts down androids, I think. It's futuristic, kind of dystopia vibes. I think it's about a bounty hunter that hunts down androids. I don't know. I know very little about this book other than it's a classic sci-fi and one that I very much would like to read. I guess I'll learn what this one's about truly when I read it, because I'm assuming it's not about androids dreaming of electric sheep. I'm just gonna make that assumption. Earth is left devastated. Through its ruins, a bounty hunter, Rick Deckard, stalks in search of the renegade replicants who are his prey. Are they androids? I think? I don't know. And when he isn't retiring them, he dreams of owning the ultimate status symbol, a live animal. Then Rick gets a big assignment to kill 6 Nexus 6 targets for a huge reward. But things are never that simple, and Rick's life quickly turns into a nightmare kaleidoscope of subterfuge and deceit. I mean, that hasn't answered a lot of my questions, but I'll find out when I read it. But yeah, didn't know it was that short, and a classic sci-fi that I would love to knock off my massive TBR list. I think it's one that I should have read by now, really. And then finally, another little one on my TBR is A Pocket Full of Crows by Joanne M. Harris. I really know very little about this. Love made her a prisoner, revenge will set her free, a modern fairy tale of love, loss and revenge. This is a perfect modern classic, and it's a beautiful hardback edition, no dust jacket, just this gold foiling everywhere. It's stunning. And the end pages as well, beautiful. It's also got some absolutely gorgeous illustrations throughout it, and I think this is very like classic fairy tale told. I really don't know what it's about, no idea, but I would like to get to this one for Readathon as well. It's been on my TBR for a little while and I haven't got to it yet, and this feels like a really great opportunity to, and it's beautiful, so maybe I'll do that. And I know that Joanne Harris has written a lot of other fairy tale retellings that have been wildly popular and successful, so hopefully I'll like it. And there we have it. There are the 7 teeny tiny books on my TBR. How many of these I will get to for Readathon, I don't know. Maybe I won't get to any of these for Readathon, and maybe I'll end up just reading a massive book instead. But it's some food for thought for me. I would like to get to some of these, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, 7 teeny tiny books on my TBR, perfect for readathons. Let's see how I do with that. If you have any teeny tiny book recommendations for me, please let me know down below. Of course, I'm always looking for more tiny books to add to my TBR because it gives you that sense of productivity when you can knock out a book really quickly. And I love a book that can do so much for you in so little pages, like something that can really make you feel something in less than 200 pages, I think is an absolute masterpiece. So if you've got any recommendations like that, let me know down below. I would really be interested to see what your recommendations are. But yeah, that's the end of this little list of books. Thank you ever so much for hanging out with me. Hope you've enjoyed Vida Day 2. And I will see you again tomorrow for Readathon. See you there. Bye!